Hi, I'm Larry Dignan, and welcome to this week's 5 Tabs, a look at 5 things that you need to know from recent news events and stuff I'm covering on Constellation Insights and the notebook it comes with. Let's get started. So first off, thing to know, all the cloud hyperscalers have reported earnings. They've talked a lot about vertical integration, and the main thing to look at here is what AWS has done. They've basically taken their Connect, which was basically a contact center application, and basically turned into a family focused on talent, supply chain, healthcare, and a couple other things. Where it gets interesting is Amazon Quick, which basically looks to do what Cloud Co-work is doing to SaaS. Basically connecting a bunch of things by API, adding some IP to it, and basically being a UI layer with some extra workflow kind of stuff on the back end. For Amazon, this is really about becoming more vertically integrated, and Amazon Quick and Connect is a way to do that. Remains to be seen how this works out with SaaS vendors, but it's definitely worth watching. Google Cloud. While we're on the topic of vertical integration, Google Cloud is absolutely killing it. First quarter revenue growth was up 63%. Revenue was 20 billion, which puts them on an annual revenue rate of 80 billion, which is a little more than half of AWS's size in terms of annual run rate. So where this gets interesting is Google Cloud Next featured a lot of vertical integration, and Google Cloud basically is the most fleshed out AI stack when it comes to models, TPUs, all that good stuff. So it really looks like they're in the pole position, at least in terms of growth. The other thing we're looking at very closely is ServiceNow's Knowledge Conference this week. Big thing they have going on is the AI Control Tower. There are a bunch of updates. There's an assistant called Otto. And where it gets interesting is the AI Control Tower now has a value calculator where it basically looks at your AI spend and your agent performance and a bunch of other things to look at your AI returns. Call me crazy, but I think this could be a killer app for the AI Control Tower because it actually tries to wrangle what every enterprise is thinking about right now. Where are the returns? What's my token spend? And all that nasty stuff under the surface once you get beyond the hype. So I think for ServiceNow, the AI Control Towers, this update where you're calculating AI value is going to be a big deal. And definitely something worth watching. This represents what Apple said about their supply chain, memory constraints, all that good stuff on their fiscal third quarter earnings call. And what you see is iPhone supplies are getting crimped, Mac supplies are getting really crimped in the quarter. Memory costs are going to be an issue starting this quarter and then really ramping into the next quarter after that. The other thing they noted was Macs are going to be in the supply situation for Macs is going to be very tight. And that's largely because people are buying Mac minis and Mac Studios to play with OpenClaw and all this agentic AI kind of stuff. So definitely something worth watching there. But my guess is every hardware vendor, every device maker is going to get hit by these same things, especially the memory. What remains to be seen is what gets passed on to the customer. Final point I'll leave you with, when you look at AI, software, everything's a software company, everything's going to become an AI company. This slide came from GM's earnings. They talked about how software and services is becoming, a bigger growing portion of their revenue base for Super Cruise as well as OnStar subscriptions. By itself, it didn't really stick out to me because, Ford says something similar with their Ford AI efforts. But then I looked at Rivian. And Rivian, they have the R2 coming out. It's going to be the latest, greatest Rivian. They really don't ship a lot of units in terms of vehicles. Where it gets interesting, though, is software and services revenue was up 49% from a year ago. Part of this is, maintenance, updates, things like that. But the other part of this is basically they're making the software for Volkswagen, which is a big investor in Rivian and a partner. I just think it's something to watch because if you look at Caterpillar, you look at all these other vendors that you wouldn't think as tech firms, software is a bigger part of the mix, and so is AI. So it's just something to watch going forward.